Hello again, and welcome to Blob It. Blob It is a very easy, extremely fast, and ridiculously cute piece of code. It basically grants a blobby, bubbly properties to anything you desire. Just move number of segments to draw the shape you want, step back, and watch the magic. Now don't be fooled by the cuteness of it, I'm telling you that. It is mighty. Those two circles with those two null objects in the middle are visually the same, yet the properties for each one of them are extremely different. The one on the left is normal and the one on the right is a blobby object, both with the same position animation and the same timing, yet when we play, the magic begins. There you see. So, let's dive deeper. As for the interface, the main attractions are those two sleepy cutie buttons. Generate linked blob, generate unlinked blob. If we hit one of them, it will take values from these text boxes and check boxes. Radius, number of segments, show controller only, rough edges. So, if we hit the generate linked blob, a circle will be generated with the control of a null object, with the specified radius and the specified number of segments if needed. Now, if the segments are 0, and this is the default value, the script will automatically generate segments depending on the radius. That means if the radius increases, the number of segments will increase too, and if the radius decreases, the number of segments will do so. By default, the segments are hidden, but you can make them visible by uncheck the show controller only button. Let's create this cutie creature. I have already prepared the eyes animation here to use. Now, for this example, since it's a perfect circle, then I have to specify the radius. As for the segments, I have the choice either to leave it 0, which is the default value, which will let the script decide the number of segments depending on the radius. But that will give me more segments than I need and make things a bit slower. Or, since it's a perfect circle, I will manually set the segments to a few amount, let's say 10. Both, if I leave it at 0, and if I put it 10, will pull out the same results, yet one is far lighter than the other. So, let's choose the light option and set the segments manually to 10. Now for the show controller only checkbox. If checked, then the shape and the controller will be visible. If unchecked, then the shape and the controller and the segments will be visible, allowing you to make any shape you want with the segments. I will leave it checked because I want to animate directly and don't want to make any other shapes than the circle. We will get to the rough edges in a few. So, let's create this. As you see, we now have two layers visible, the controller null and the shape itself, and bunch of invisible layers. You can find them if you toggle the shy switch. This is where the magic happens, and if you notice, those are the 10 hidden segments. This is because I chose to show controller only option. If I uncheck this one, the segments will be visible for me to shape anything with it. We're not gonna do it now. Now let's make things alive. This is a normal After Effects shape with the blobby properties, which means I can add fill, and edit the stroke. Let's just move it down. Now for the animation, I have an expression here that will make the object move up and down smoothly as a wave if I apply it to the position. Now let's solo these two and see what happens. As you see, the magic is happening. Now we do have two main sliders on the controller null to spice things up. The blob amount, which if increased, the blobbiness effect will increase too. See, this is set to 1 and the blobbiness is just like so. And if set to 2, the blobbiness effect will increase, and if increased, will increase as well. Let's set it back to 1. The blob direction, which determines the direction of the blob effect. As you see, it's now set to 0, up, which means the blobbiness effect is gonna happen from the top down. Like so, top down. If we set it to 90 degrees, the direction is going to be right, from the right to left. And if we set it to 180, it will be down. The blobbiness effect will start from the down. And if set to 270, it will be from the left. And we do have 4 more directions as well. If it's between 0 and 90, it will be top right. And if between 90 and 180, it will be down right. If between 180 and 2070, it will be down left. And finally between 270 and 360 would be top left. Basically any direction is possible. Yet you have to notice that the value of the blob direction must always be between 0 and 359 for the directions to take effect. Otherwise, the direction will always be top. Let's link those eyes. It's so simple. You only need to select any layer you want to connect to the blobby object and select the main controller of that object and hit link to object. If you're not happy with the positioning, you can deselect the null and move him wherever you desire. The script will do the rest for you and give the linked layers the blobby effect, just like so. And anything in that blob amount and blob direction will take effect on the linked objects, just like so. Now let's say you do have too many objects. I mean, this object is basically those, yet all of these are hidden. And if you do another object, all of these will be visible as well. And if you do another larger one, 0 and 300, and show controller only. No, I want to show every single segment. You're gonna have a lot going on in one composition. Don't panic. You can organize everything by just select the controller and hit pre-compose. Anything linked to that object will be moved to a separated composition. Let's see this, pre-compose, and this as well, pre-compose, and notice it took the eyes with it. Anything linked to that object or null controller will be moved to a separated pre-composition. Now let's make this cheesy look planet. Its main body is a perfect circle. Then it wouldn't be a big of a problem. Just make the object with the default or the specified segments. Let's make it 240, and the segments, let's leave it the default. Show controller only, since it's a perfect circle and I don't want to move any of the segments, so none of them must be visible. And just make the object. Yep, just like so. Let's take it all the way down. Yep. Hide the main one and unsolo this. Now we have to connect all of these layers to the object. So I have to select them. Let's select all of these and select the controller and hit link. Just like so. Now animate this and the magic will happen. As easy as that. Now if I don't want to do that animation, I can animate it in a very different manner, like so. This is not so cool animation, so I am going to move the direction down now. Yep. And if I do a bounce back expression, yep, that's it. As easy as that. This one is a bit different since it's not a perfect circle. Let's solo the main body so that we can reshape the blobby object to match it. And let's create our blobby object. The radius is fine. The segments, let's make him 10. And the show controller only is no longer needed because I wanted the segments to be visible in the scene. So let's create it now. Animate it to the middle and lock the main body, and let's make this black 3 so that we can see it clearly, and lock it as well and toggle. Now we just need to move this circle to the proper positions. So that we can make an exact copy of the body we wanted to make. Yep, I believe it's just like that. Now just mark all of the segments and hide them and toggle the shy so that they can disappear. Now take those two objects underneath and let's say we want to pick with this color and add it to the shape of the blob and hide the stroke, and there you go. Hide the main one. Now we do have the body with the blobbiness properties. Unsolo, and now let's link. We're gonna select all of these layers above the elements of the body and select the body. Notice that if you don't select the main controller and hit link, it will alert you that no controller is selected. So you have to make sure that you select the main controller and hit link. Now if you notice, all of the elements just went a little bit down. Unselect the main controller and move everything back to where it belongs. Now you are ready. Just animate this. Let's say from here to here, and let's make the blobbiness that way, and let's make an overshoot just like so. And if you're not happy with this animation, you can actually create any animation you want just by apply this. Now see, let's increase this. See now. Let's increase this. Let's make it down the direction. And now let's make it up. Endless possibilities, in fact. As for this example, it's actually the same. Just distributed the segments on a different shape. Let me show you the segments. Yep, just like that. Distributed the segments to make another shape. Now Blob It is not limited to rounded, curvy shapes. It also can be used to rough and boxy shapes and edges. Let's say this, for example. It's a rough edged shape with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main segments. So let's do it. Let's do 5 segments. We're not gonna show the controller only because we want to see the segments, and let's make it rough edges. See, deselect everything and hit this without the rough edges option. You're gonna get rounded. Yet Control Z and hit the rough edges. See, now we have a rough edged object. Now we only have to animate each one of these with the proper point, and done. You need just to take all of these segments, select them and hide and shy, Take this, make it around 6, make it black, take it all the way here, and hide the original shape, just like that. Now you are ready to go, and you have just to link those layers to the object. So select all of these and hit link to object. There you go. Animate it. Not that much. We have to change the direction. Yep. And do a bouncing. Yes. And now do a blob amount of 3, let's say. Look at that. Cool.